I'm muted. It feels good to be.
Maybe we say it louder for them.
He's like
again.
Robin Salt to the wind muted, by the way. Yes.
Every time I have any sort of gloating, I've somehow muted myself. Rusty.
Yeah.
Do you want to do game analysis or do you want to talk about abs?
Oh, that's a tough choice. That's a real... You know what? I think we'll stick with game analysis for this one, Nick.
Okay.
We'll keep it brief, though. I think that AV had a pretty good draft overall. I was very excited to see that go up against the Chiefs. And then it was something that Spawn highlighted pretty well. They hit about 8 minutes, and all of the strategy that they had seemed to have disappeared with a simple lane swap. And it was like a down-tempo lane swap by the Chiefs. It wasn't the best lane swap. But they didn't know how to respond, and they were getting caught in side lanes suddenly, and like the map became the Chiefs, and all they did was put their bottom lane top, and it wasn't even perfect. Like, that's amazing that you could just do that and take down AV. That makes me worried for AV, because that's like a simple strategy that's just thrown them, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what threw me. I was quite invested in that game, and there was back and forth and good discussion about it. And then the last like 2 minutes, we ended up talking about how quickly you can get abs, and it to the point that I didn't realize the game was over, and so I didn't actually see who won. So that's how good a host I am of the League of Legends esports broadcast program.
Are you just trying to make this a day of spoilers, Nick? First the basketball, now the first game. So where does it end?
Totally.
Where does it end, mate?
Yeah, that's why Spawn hasn't said anything, because he's like, terrified now.
I'm just terrified, both of your abs and of the spoilers.
Well, if you really want to be terrified, you need to stick around for our next seg. Before we get to that one, a quick reminder, you saw the commercial earlier that EPOS are running a competition, and they have been running for most of the split now, to win a GSP 600 gaming headset. The last couple of times we've been asking for your most out-of-this-world gaming memory. This time we want to know your most out-of-this-world OPL memory. So it can be gameplay, it can be something from the broadcast, it can be from the entire history of the OPL. We want to know what your favorite OPL memory is. So please reply to the post of this competition on the @OPL Twitter page with your answer, and we will pick the winners live on the OPL. It's going to be a nice walk down memory lane. We'll be drawing that one in a couple of weeks. There are full terms and conditions on watch.lollysports.com. We are excited to give away the EPOS GSP 600 gaming headset. Spawn.
There is a correct answer to this question.
There is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It has to be Luna Park. If the answer to the winner of this question is not the time that we took over a whole theme park and put Timo's face like next to the Sydney Harbour Bridge and genuinely sold like League of Legends themed food and then had one of the best finals of all time, I don't know what the right answer is. Like, I will bow out of the competition if Luna Park does not win, because that was genuinely out of this world.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a nice one. The only thing about it is that I wasn't there, and neither was Skimmy. So, Rusty, were you at that one?
Yes,
Flip the scripts, we can go left and right again.
I was there at that one. It was the best one by far.
All right, we get it. It was awesome without us. We'll leave. But if you want that GSP 600 gaming headset, you are going to want it, because particularly for this next seg, because we're about to launch into Pro ASMR or PASMA.
Ooh.
Maybe we're going to do that.
Is that the
twist? The anticipation. Oh, wow. I was so excited. I was like, we're all waiting for the opening titles.
I was like locked in suspense.
And I swear to God, everyone also would have been going like, what is it? What am I missing? Because he said ASMR, so it's got to be something that's happening.
About to turn up my volume to be like, is it whispering?
Turn the lights off, put the mic in your mouth and talk sweet words.
So if someone on production can confirm that we will still go ahead with this, even if the opening titles did not launch, because Pro SMR is, of course, the segment that I came up with on the show a couple of weeks ago as like a seg I would want to do. And then I forced everyone to do it. So what I have done over the course of this, and I don't know how much I could tease it because I haven't gotten word back from production yet, so someone better tell me. Yes, we can?
As he said, it's been fixed. Yeah.
Yes, cool. Okay. Well, we will throw to the titles now, and then we'll come back and do Pro SMR. Go. It was worth the wait. Excellent. So Pro ASMR is, of course, the segment where I contacted pros, League of Legends pro players, or potentially casters, and got them to record some ASMR lines. We are going to play them for you, and you three have to guess who you are listening. Whisper
no.
sweet nothings into your ear.
Okay.
Yeah.
no.
So we've got 3 lines per person, so you'll have a couple of chances. So let's start with ASMR artist number 1. Listen carefully.
Hi guys, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi, and welcome to the War Room. Hi guys, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi, and welcome to the War Room.
Oh my god, the anticipation again.
Play something.
Does it feel?
I'm crying.
Does it feel like we're just getting heavily trolled right now? Because also, I don't know if chat can hear what we just heard. And what disturbs me is that the person who just spoke to us is also 1,000% the person who should be fixing this problem right now. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna need production. Congratulations, you have thrown me. We are being played the clip.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi, and welcome to the War Room.
Oh, that's Bryce, Agent Paul, and he sucks.
Can you hear literally anything?
Yeah, I just heard
it's
Bryce.
Bryce.
It's really
I
faint,
heard
though.
Bryce.
It said, "Hi, my name is Jake Spawn
Jake
Tiberi,
and welcome to the
War Room."
War Room.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and
okay,
it was
good.
Bryce.
Hi guys,
So,
Okay.
Bryce,
It was not. It was not Bryce.
to the War Room.
what?
There we go.
Pabu.
Okay. No. Okay.
Oh, is it Pabu?
It is Pabu. Well done.
that's
good.
Congratulations.
Well, he
done.
can also bite me today. So
Can we hear Pabu's second line? Just because I feel like he needs to get his due. There it is. That's his face rubbing up against a microphone, I think. And then Pabu's third line.
Are we all meant to guess that?
Yeah, okay.
Sounds like Pabu's head.
You breathless.
he will leave you breathless.
Is that a
There
Janet
you
quote?
go.
Or we just
It
missed
must
it?
It was. It was. Congratulations. Okay, good guess with Pabu. There we go. Oh god, it
I
just keeps
recently
going.
spoke with Pabu playing Nexus Splits, but I think I had an unfair advantage on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Placement.
ASMR artist number 2 with clue number 1. Listen carefully.
Fear the assassin that has no master.
Ooh, look at that. I do fear him.
Oh no, get the scoreboard out of here. Who's that?
Let's hear ASMR artist number 2, clue number 2.
Do you like this Twitch chat?
Do you like this Twitch chat?
I'm sure they
Is
do.
this Tally?
I'm sure they do. It's not Tally.
Is
Damn.
it Romeo?
No, it's...
I thought it
Oh,
might
wait,
have been
who?
Tian.
Thien?
It is! Congratulations. Good guess on that. What gave that one away?
I remember his interview with you from whatever competition we did.
Yeah,
in the
from the thing we did.
mid-season,
Yeah,
and he just that heartbroken, look he gave you just popped into my
Yep.
head when I heard the second line.
That's good.
Far
Let's
out.
let's hear the third one from him as well, because I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Andre Holchin. Andre Hall.
Andre Olch.
Legends.
There you go.
I feel very uncomfortable now, Nick.
Good. That's the idea. Okay, let's jump into number 3. This one with a little more gusto, I believe. We get from ASMR artist number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Chippies?
Yeah, it is.
Chippies.
Chippies, well done.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat. My God, you guys whisper to too many pro players. This is
Why is
way
he
too
smiling so much? Chippies doesn't look like that.
easy. It's true. It's true.
This game's too easy.
It's very easy for you, isn't it? Okay.
Weird.
Well, we will see. Let's just jump to the fourth person now. The final entry. We'll see if you can guess this one. The final entry.
Hello, guys.
Raz!
It's not that big-headed, small brain, bad music taste having, and bad smell, rusty ball bags.
Shut your mouth.
There we go. It's Raz. Congratulations.
It's
So it's two apiece, Skimmy. Unfortunately, you didn't get any of them.
It's okay, mate.
But can I say, because you did not recognize the sound of competitive League of Legends players whispering to you, I think you are actually the real winner.
Yeah, I feel a little bit disturbed. Yeah, that's all I have to say. We'll go swiftly next.
So thank you very much to, I mean, that segment went exactly as planned. That was the train wreck that we all hoped. Thank you to Pabu, Thien, Chippies, and Raz for entering and being really good sports with that one. All right, it's time to jump into game number 2. It's Legacy versus Gravitas. What could happen in this game, Rusty?
Oh, man. What could happen in this game? This is first place versus last place in the ladder. And last time we saw Gravitas, they played some groovy stuff when it came to draft Nick. So what could happen? Name it. Name it, and it could probably happen.
But the last time that Legacy played Gravitas in the third stage of a round robin, Legacy lost. I'll have you know. So maybe, just maybe, there is a hope. Didn't Praylison's Human go absolutely bonkers and run over them last split?
I believe so.
I believe so, yeah. And also, like, at this point, are Gravitas in a position where, like you said, they're playing some groovy stuff. They go, we got nothing to lose. This game technically means nothing for us other than potentially a bit of stage time for people who maybe some subs or something on the team. Throw them out there and see what happens, right?
Yeah. That's what I wanted last week. I wanted the subs to come in and get some experience.
Yeah, they have 10 people on that roster photo. Show me the other 5.
Exactly. Earn that photo.
That was the best part of that photo when it said Gravitas to 1 and just 15 boys just showed up. It's like, we've won, we've done it. And I'm like, whoa, they're just smurfing. What?
And the worst part when they don't win, it's like, but you had 15 people. How did you not pull out the W for that one? All right, let's jump into game number 2. It's Legacy versus Gravitas, and it's coming up after this short break with the Macca's Champ Select.
And here we go for the second game of the day with Legacy taking on Gravitas. And that was going to be my question, Spawn. Who would be playing in the mid lane? Would we have Halo or would we have Tally? And to that same extent, what would Legacy's objective be here today? Is it to refine a playstyle they've really built upon this entire split? Or is it to practice something new to get yourself prepared for playoffs?
Yeah, and I want to see how they treat Halo right. Because I think I've had this conversation every single time that Halo has played. But Halo is not a one-for-one substitute for Tally. They play very different champions, Jimmy. And I feel like the best thing that Legacy can do is get him off the Karma, get him off, you know, these kind of picks, and get him back onto the Vega, get him onto the Orianas, and make sure that when you're playing Halo, you're playing his pool and trying to improve him and get him ready for a championship run. Because there must be something that they feel like Tally doesn't bring to the team. And the only thing I can think of in that regard is a more standard control mage champion. Because Tally's control mage is Victor, and then he would rather play things like Twisted Fate, Karma, or Galio, and not the Vegas, the Orianas, the Zoes, and those kind of picks, right? So if that's the case, like, I just want to see Halo have a really great game here today against Human and play something like a Zoe, an Oriana, or a Vega to really high level and get me hyped up that this Legacy team can repeat and go back-to-back with a new mid laner.
Wouldn't that be the fairy tale ending? We've seen from the 3 games he's played so far, 1 on Karma, 2 on Oriana. Obviously, the Karma has been banned away here today, so The potential to sort of see him veer away from that option. And my next question is then going to really be, with Gravitas, who sort of figured out what their game plan has been for the majority of the split, as to put Praelis on a high-impact jungler, look to try and find him, go into a lane to try and get them online very early. Searman, he's been on the likes of a Zed or an Akali, and last week it was kind of a pick-your-poison kind of occasion where you ban one, you pick the other. Akali's going to be a banned away here today, so it's still a very real possibility for him to go to the likes of a Zed.
And we'll see whether he does. As soon as you see Caitlyn, your brain just goes fast push. Like, they're going to play a fast push style of League of Legends. They're going to try and play a ranged support, and they're going to try and take turrets. And Caitlyn is great at 0 items and boots 2, and then kind of falls off a big cliff. And then at 3 items, she ramps back up, and she's like the roller coaster of League of Legends, right? So, you know, something like a Senna, on the other hand, that's just a smooth transition the whole way through that keeps building. Yeah. So I think, like, you have to be able to play some form of cool fast push here, and Bard just sucks in fast push. So I don't think we're going to see fast push, but
this is odd. This is the 4th game in a row that Beats has said, I am going to play this Bard. He's played it with so many different AD carries, Kaisers, Aphelios' Vaynes, now going to do it with a Caitlyn. And I was just going to touch on what we saw to start off Split 2, which was Avant running this, getting so much early pressure that they were able to do whatever they wanted on the map.
Yeah, in my opinion, just go like Morgana. Like, if you're going to go for it, just like, go Nami. Like, make them play the hard-to-execute, like, Nautilus, Thresh, or Blitzcrank lane, where they have to kill you. They haven't got the best kill threat support, or, AD carry in center. She can be played support if then they want to play a Varus or an Ashe or something like that. But I feel like Bard is just... If you're a great Bard player, Bard is an insane champion. Like, if you're Isles, or you're Cupcake, and you pick Bard, you're doing it for a very specific reason, right? Which is how much disruption, like, you are trusting you will get through his crappy early game to have all the disruption and the damage in the mid game. But from what I've seen of Beat so far, and this isn't a slight because I can't play Bard either, he's just not the Bard player.
It's a region where we definitely do have some Bard players, and one would be on the opposite side of the screen in Isles. We haven't seen him play it too much this split, but it was a definitely hotly contested pick in the playoffs that crowned themselves champions.
Oh, he was the finals MVP, and he played all Bard that set. Like, he's a phenomenal Bard player.
He showcased that there are a few players in OS that can play it, and they can play it to another level, I think is fair to say. What I was going to touch on is the fact that Echo has been let through the draft. Now, this is a pick that we know Praelis loves to play whenever the opportunity is afforded to him. It's been banned away in their last 4 games, and he's experimented around in the worlds of, you know, Trundles, Kindreds, Nidleys, and Graves. Kind of a little bit more quote-unquote meta, but this feels a lot more comfort for him, and we've seen the link up between him on an Assassin and Searman on an Assassin, and they act as a 1-2 punching squad.
They certainly do. Completely agree with you on that case, Skimmy, and also the fact that it can be a mid lane pick as well for Searman. It's just a great flex. It's really good into Trundle. It's one of the better junglers into Trundle, in my opinion, because Trundle, you know, can just be leapt away from, and you're going to be able to outrun him on the Echo. Pretty non-interactive until you can kill him. This is an interesting blind here in the Renekton, and that's an even more interesting response from nobody, because I think Renekton actually beats Wukong. So we'll see how that goes. I was going to say things like the Quinn are available, any long-distance mage, like a Nico or something like that, can have some good impact against it. Kennen can win that lane. Instead, he just goes with the Wukong straight up. And this is something
that makes me interested. Like, this could be going elsewhere, right? We could be looking at that mid lane Echo. We could be looking at, you know, a mid lane Lulu. It could be all over the show.
That's actually true. So Echo could go mid, and Lulu could go top, and that could be a jungle Wukong. However, I think more likely is that is a top Wukong and a mid lane Lulu. And what they're saying to Halo is Lulu mid is a little bit of a lane bully in the right matchups, but scales so damn well. And if now their fast push comp is back on, right? Because if you knock down bottom lane turret, then just rotate the trio around with that mid laner and allow Praelis to kind of do his thing where he farms all the map and acts as if he's actually a solo laner from the jungle position. You have a really great composition here with Ardent, Athene's, Lulu being able to buff up your Caitlyn, and a lot of safety being provided by the peel of Bard. So we'll see whether that's how it works out. Halo goes with the kill threat route, and this is what I mean. Like, Halo has to be able to play these matchups, in my opinion, if he's going to be the starter throughout playoffs. And I'm really proud of him. You know, this is a ballsy call. He doesn't call for an Orianna. He doesn't call for just an even lane. He says, give me Cassiopeia. I'll be able to run him down. I'll be able to kill him in this matchup.
And I think more than anything, right, now is the time to really build up that confidence. You know, you're coming into an esteemed organization like this, you notice some pressure that's on you, coming in from a champion, sitting at first spot right now with Order hot on your heels. They're definitely making a run for it. Yes, Order fell down last weekend to this team, but, you know, if you are going to be a pick that's a substitute that could be utilized in a best-of-3, best-of-5 format, it is time to start getting some stage experience, and all these picks that you've highlighted have been used to good effect to put him in such a good spot on the solo queue ladder, but to get him a ticket on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Legacy would be all that worried about Order. They have the head-to-head and they're 2 games ahead, which technically means that Order would have to win all 5 of the next games, and Legacy would have to drop 3 of them. Like, I think that's a little bit of a stretch too far. I think that Order probably would resign themselves to we're chasing 2nd seed. Legacy are going to get that bye in the upper bracket, which they definitely deserve. They've been the best team all year. So I think for me, like, Legacy will probably win this game, Skimmy. Like, that's a spoiler alert for everyone at home. We have the top of the ladder team that's only lost 3 games versus the team that has lost 12 games in a row at the moment. So this is like, you know, the David and Goliath battle. So let's track how they win it and how they use Halo in this counter-pick matchup.
And that was my point, right, as to, you know, what really is the game plan for Legacy based on that alone, right? You know, there's always lessons to be learned from any game, regardless of the standings, regardless of the team you're going to go into. Gravitas continue to innovate. They continue to showcase that it's not all about making sure that Seaman can be the star player on this roster. No, we can revert back to going these double support comps again to try and buff up the likes of Puma. We've seen states of this with the likes of a Karma mid being run. We haven't always been so convinced that this is a play style that Gravitas excel on the most. But Lulu, a bit of a different ball game here. Could definitely look to try and cause a bit of a ruckus and as you say, really exemplify the power and the push that has made Caitlyn so strong in the early game and ensure that Legacy don't try and turtle things out for another 38-minute game.
And we'll see whether they're able to accomplish that. I think that Legacy probably not looking for 35+ minute game here, given the fact that they are running a Renekton. He doesn't want to go that late. Senna scales really well. Cassio does scale well because she's one of the few champions that can just build 6 straight-up items. But in saying that, she has range issues, and there's a whole host of reasons that Cassio's not a good blind pick at the moment. So I think Legacy will probably try and, you know, speed this one up a little bit, for lack of a better phrase, Skimmy. I want to see Legacy do what they did in split number 1 against bad teams in the league, and that is put them away in 25 to 27 minutes.
And it looked like a totally different team when they do play that kind of style, right? I mean, we come into this one. Both teams are actually at opposite ends after 16 games played. Legacy hold the highest average game time at 34 minutes, whilst Gravitas on the opposite end of that scale with the lowest at games finishing in just 28 minutes. So that was my curiosity, maybe catering to the fact that we know teams try to get aggressive in the early game, try to punish us and try to abuse the standings and skill gaps that put these teams as to where they are right now. Whether or not the Caitlyn and the combination they've drafted here is enough to put the pressure on, or if the Renekton and the Cassiopeia can cause enough problems early.
So we'll see exactly how Legacy decide to play this game. Quite interested in the jungle pathing, as Beats will take a little bit of damage there, but not all that much. Just given the fact that both of the junglers are pathing down on very similar trajectories, Skimmy, and you can see they're actually going at about the same pace as well. Trundle, for a tank jungler, actually clears just very quickly, has attack speed steroid off his W, has auto attack reset off the Q. Puma missed experience somehow. Okay, not going to get punished off it though, Skimmy. Beats hit level 2 a creep early, and Puma was late to lane apparently. That CC going to land.
The chains connect, that guarantees the death sentence. Instant cleanse. The magical journey was there if need be, but no. Turns it around, lands a headshot, I believe, and ensures that the trade still works in favor of them.
Yeah, headshot into a bit of a peacemaker there. Means that Raze is going to have to top himself off just slightly. Obviously does have some heals in this lane, as does the Bard. So it's going to be fairly back and forward in terms of sustain. And you can see that the Trundle is going to be slightly quicker to this bottom lane. It is pushing. This is a good gank.
Well, the question is, will he go for the gank? We've seen how strong it can be to go for a counter gank, hence why he's waiting in the wings, seeing if Prellis decides to shop. Reason being, you can achieve so much more if you go for a counter gank, but now they bite the bullet. They jump in aggressively, they land the pillar, and they guarantee that Raze, the main man, gets himself first blood.
And look at the big wave that's just about to crash into the turret. If you Beats, your job now becomes, can I play chicken? Can I actually keep this one off the turret and ensure that my Caitlyn gets back into the game? No, he can't. Instead, Praelis, acting like the solo laner, as we said, is just going to come in. He's going to eat all of the farm. He's going to get himself a little bit more experience. But there's Caitlyn now, Skimmy. Remember how I was saying if Caitlyn stays on the clock, she goes through a trough and she kind of is weak in the mid-game? If she falls behind the clock, she just flat out sucks in the early to mid-game.
It just feels like there is no mid-game. It is this a prolonged early game and suddenly, oh, maybe I've got 3 items. Maybe I can be a force to be reckoned with once again. Nicole is there, so we'll be looking to farm on up, but that's not the game plan for Legacy. They want to be aggressive! And welcome to the OPL, says Halos. He shows up topside, debuts the Cassiopeia, and guarantees himself this time some kill threat for well-utilized teleport. But that's not going to be about Seaman finally rotating up. He went for the Ignite option. He went for the lane dominance and burns both summoners, but cannot take down the Croc on the top.
This game's a disaster for Gravitas. Even if you want to talk about what their composition can do, we mentioned it in the kind of draft phase that they've gone for something a little bit different. I don't think Wukong beats Renekton. It looks like Wukong doesn't beat Renekton, Skimmy. So across the board, they've got a couple of losing lanes, a couple of disaster lanes already. Really great teleport there from Halo to get into the top side, but this bottom lane is just getting straight up 2v2 bullied.
Certainly is. Always unfortunate not to land that trap, but the response is strong there from Puma, who will guarantee his at least. Once again, find himself a desirable trade with the headshots coming in clutch to turn things around. The CC that Legacy can throw their way to make sure that Beats is unable to guarantee any form of cosmic binding or harass. Just so damn punishing.
Very hard to think you won that trade as Gravitas, even though health might look like it. You sit there and you go, okay, oh, magical journey.
Oh. Well, he attempted it. He burnt the Ignite, and he burnt the Flash too, and now he may pay the ultimate price, which is his life, as he gets dropped down very low, sub 10%, runs away, don't connect this chain with me! What are you doing, Praelis? Please run away! Oh no, he falls on down eventually. Oh, smacks him with the lantern. He takes him down.
And already we see a 2,000 gold lead, Skimmy, at 6 minutes into this game. I remember last game when Avant was 600 gold up, and I was like, you know, complimenting them on how smoothly they'd played the early game. This is 4 times as good out of Legacy. This is the longest game time team in the competition. In 6 minutes, just demolishing the Gravitas lineup.
They're well and truly displaying the class that separates these two teams, aren't they, at this stage? It's the first Dragon going their way, the first 3 kills going their way, and that's 6 minutes. Now you're looking at about 1,500 gold for every as well. All you like to see at this stage, and some of the big benefactors of that will be the likes of Cassiopeia, looking to try and bridge the mana pool issues that they can tend to have at the start. The tier's already there, the Crystal also to assist, and the spamming continues.
And this is the last area that you can really hope for some, you know, good action. You can already see that this Lulu is behind, doesn't have summoner spell advantage, so not really all that much you're going to get done in the mid lane. You can see that bottom lane, just a disaster. Leave that one on an island. I'm never going there as a jungler. Top lane, however, there's at least parity. You know, he's down a longsword at this stage. They both have level 6. Potentially, if your jungler is a little bit stronger, or, you know, has some base stats to work with, you can, you know, potentially look to gank top Topoon right now, create a win condition for nobody. Given the fact that Praelis has run back and forth over a control ward 3 times now, I don't think that that's going to happen, Skimmy. But if you had to check the brush, it might have.
Gravitas just can't catch a break at this stage, can they? Everywhere the observers turn, there is action happening. Legacy bullying. Keeping them locked down near their turrets. The main focal point for the meantime has been bottom lane, where the majority of the CC and comedy has been found. Nearly at 20 stacks is Raze. Obviously a lot harder when you are the one primarily farming, based on the change that was pushed by Riot to try and make Senna a bit more of a support, but still, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And so we see the map just calm down, right? Bottom lane, good trade coming across there for the Legacy lineup, but they weren't willing to, you know, burn a flash forward for miles or something like that, continue to try and go for those kills. Instead, they've just said, okay, we're winning, let's put the brakes on a little bit, let's look for optimal map state, which is pushing in bottom lane. We'll get the teleport out of nobody. You can see right now that Gravitas are hoping that they've swapped fast enough to be able to take themselves a Rift Herald. It looks like they probably have here, Skimmy, so great job from Gravitas to look for an objective against the flow of play. However, without Suman rotating towards this, and he's getting delayed longer and longer. Teleport, nope, not going to come in. I was going to say is available. So it looks like Gravitas will be able to pick this one up, and hopefully if it is dropped into Caitlyn lane, the initial game plan of that fast push style can come back onto the table.
Yep, don't need any kind of assistance they can get at this stage. Obviously we know that raw damage on the likes of a Caitlyn is always beautiful. Pickaxe is there, no BF sword, still sitting on that coal, just resigned to farming and matching that of Raze, but the Herald could look to try and bridge that gap. We touched briefly about the likes of a Cassiopeia, but that's the second major power spike with the Lost Chapter now there to patch up some of those weaknesses of the spamming capacity, and a Dark Seal to boot as well. The guy expects some more action, more kills, and more ability power to reward his efforts, as now bot lane is where we're at, as the lane flip has taken place, as a Herald tends to do.
And don't take this the wrong way, Skimmy, because people are going to be like, this is, you know, unfair analysis. But I think that Legacy made the right call there of not contesting that Herald. You know, I already said that the crossplay map is sometimes more valuable. Being able to get yourself an advantage like a teleport or something like that for the ensuing Herald fight is at times more impactful. But they're probably the only team in the OPL that doesn't teleport Topoon there and look to fight. I think Order would look to fight that with Swiper if he was on these same items. I think that Chiefs definitely look to fight that, even if it's like a 3v5. They would just think that they can, you know, with the advantages that they have in itemization so far, look to outplay. Legacy, however, this is just proof of like kind of their championship caliber. They're happy to give you your small wins on Summoner's Rift. Like, if you do something well, Legacy is one of the few teams that will just concede and say, okay, that was done pretty well. Like, we don't need that to win the game right now. It's not going to lose us the game. So just give them the advantage. And this might actually claw Gravitas back in slightly to the game.
I'll touch on that point in a second, because meanwhile, a gank has been positioned top side. He was locked in stasis for such a long time. Raze finally falls on down. They invested so much to ensure that he would be taken on out. That was a tempered fate, followed by a stopwatch if you were confused. Does not change the outcome, however. Now Prelus looking for another kill, but another stopwatch. And another death, this time going against him. This time the teleport comes on out. This time Topoon comes in with the glory and guarantees the kill.
And almost scripted there, Skimmy. They give up the Herald. They save the teleport to be able to do so. What do they get in response? 3 kills and a successful defense of the initial Herald play. Now with Dragon back up and available on the flip side, they'll also get themselves that objective off how quickly Cassiopeia does it. This is what correct League of Legends looks like. You have to give the opposing team their plays, but the counter-attack from Legacy is just so damn crisp.
I was going to touch on briefly before from when I've watched the Legacy vlogs for the little insight into their team on game day as to how Denon has been very much a driving factor of, you know, take the fights you want to take, you know, is this something you want or are you just fighting for the sake of fighting? And you know, it's a clear example as I hear a flash go off because it looks like action's taking place in the jungle by the Raptor Pit. It's going to be Suman that gets locked himself in place. He pops the ultimate, pops a flash and jumps into the magical journey, and just like that, he's back in business with the boys around to protect him as they drop the Herald topside. Yeah,
so Herald will be dropped. It's a pretty good Herald drop. However, you can see inside track from the mid lane has been achieved, and too many people are hitting this turret. They need to get out of there. So Legacy will continue to defend. Nobody, the major winner here. Legacy need to be able to fight.
Tempered Fate, once again, locks in place too. The hook connects, the damage to match. Once again, another magical journey. Topoon's a madman, there's the Dawning Shadow. Raze deletes his chance of disengaging away that time, says you run away once, but you can't hide a second time. And the inline track, as you highlighted, Legacy playing like it's the Olympics there, Spawn.
Topoon looking for a dive here.
Ooh, forced a flash, did not want to fall victim to a two-man stun. The Chronosphere could have been disastrous. Nice trade back. Puma does take out Topoon in the end. A little bit sketchy there for a second.
You do have to say, however, that is probably a one trade for the Gravitas lineup. Now have red buff on your Caitlyn. You went 2 for 1 overall, but you got a successful Herald drop, and I think you took 3 plates bottom lane onto your Wukong, who was able to lane unharassed by this Renekton, who's a monster, for a very long time. You then also got teleport out of the Cassiopeia. They actually go
here
through.
They come. Oh no, the second time Beats has attempted it. That flash forward binding. Unlucky for him here. Not able to guarantee that fight. Not able to, once again, maybe snowball their bottom lane. And they're still working for that first item. It's looking like he's going to go for the Infinity Edge. Needs a few more minions, and that call will be completed for an injection of gold that he so desperately needs.
Yeah, and he's not going to want to base for another 2 waves, I would assume. Actually, he does want to base. That is very rare. I've never seen a person with a cull base when they have, you know, this much left on the cull, even if they do have a completed item. Because if you're him, you're thinking, you know what, like maybe it's a IE plus an extra dagger if I don't go for this base. Maybe I can keep the pressure on. However, you know, the fact that Isles actually base maybe makes him feel like he has to. I don't know. But that means that, you know, in the ideal world, he's on map for a very long time with a completed cull, which you don't see all that often in pro games, Skimmy.
No, I don't see it too often. Obviously, you see a ton of the item itself, but what does it mean? What does the recall actually represent? Well, he goes for the Berserker Greaves, so a little bit of extra attack speed. If he can find moments of locking members down in CC, guaranteeing the trap goes underneath. A few more headshots. Always a little bit nice. Won't have that staying power, that raw throughput that an Infinity Edge will deliver. Obviously, we didn't get to see what his gold was at that stage. Whether or not that was a possibility.
Beats.
Once again, it's both supports flexing their might, and well, Beats, you're standing on top of a ward, but the magical journey will prevent anybody from following you.
And they give first turret gold to the Echo. Now he might be in some trouble, however, Skimmy, as he needs to hightail it.
Rayless looking for the stun again, does not find it.
Teleport.
Unfortunate for him, there's the Wukong from the back, there's a shutdown, there's one! Can Gravitas find more? No, the junglers both turn things around. There's Babip. He's popped the subjugate. He's as big as the Dominus Renekton. You can't take him down. And Legacy and Rage say, why did you take our attention away from this Herald? And they run straight back towards it.
And this is the best game I've seen Halo play in the OPL so far, Skimmy. He's 2-0-0, 30 CS up on the Cassiopeia, and has so much presence on Summoner's Rift. You can just see they do not want to run through that man. That's going to be a Herald picked up for the Legacy lineup. And really, really impressed by his play so far. Was that blind?
That was blind.
Just an inkling he was there. Okay.
Same area of the map. Same outcome again. Raze with the ulti. Well, he definitely punishes Beats.
Yeah, like, Beats has just had a rough season. He's now 0-4 on the Bard again. Why do you feel for Beats?
Well, I feel for him for the sense that he's had to lane swap so many times, right? Starts in top, then has to fill in jungle, now playing in support. I feel like, you know, this is the face of a man that is I would like to say, an ideal teammate, right? Just so accommodating for the greater good of things. Like, I'll play whatever is need be. Just want to stick with this roster. I want to do what we can. And as harmonious as that sounds, obviously plays that main of a particular role, are showcasing the slight difference between the two of them.
Hook is on.
Tempered Fate. There's a sphere to try and guarantee a stun afterwards. Will not connect, however. Renekton is huge. Chasing whoever gets locked in place here by a Stennis stun. And that will be eventually the Wukong. Oh, the hook! You're not running away this time. That portal does not belong to you. Takes him out of the equation instantly. And just convincing skirmishers continue to net Legacy so many big windows of opportunity where they can push the lead further and further ahead. Hook after hook, the man does not miss! He finds another one! The Dragon, meanwhile, was being taken the entire time. That's 3 members of Legacy with both Trundle and Cassiopeia locked up down bot.
And you can just see Isles in complete comfort. You know, while we talk about how uncomfortable Beats may look at the moment, 2-1-6 on the Thresh. Isles, in his rookie season, is just going from strength to strength, Skimmy. Across the board as well, this Renekton, 3-1-4, massive problem. Level 11, level 2 Dominus is going to be available. Going for a bit of a different build, actually, than we've seen out of our Renekton players. He's going for Blade of the Ruined King into Death Stance, as opposed to Cleaver into Titanic. I like it, a lot more sustained for the side lane split push, if that's what they think is going to be able to win them this game.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the Renekton players definitely veered away from that. We saw it be buffed up for melee in particular. We saw a big amount of players saying, well, we want to do this, we want to get in the action, we want to be, you know, a highlight, a focus. but in recent times definitely has reverted back to the likes of, you know, your stock standard Black Cleaver and just assist the team as opposed to the 1v1s.
And I wonder if it's because nobody didn't go for it. So, and what I mean by that, right, is that... Oh, hold the thought. A lot of damage coming out here. When you're playing a champion that can split push or can team fight, sometimes if your direct opponent goes for the team fighting items, you know, Tiamat into Trinity Force, it actually makes more sense. I'm not going to get to talk, am I?
You're just not going to get to talk there. Unfortunately for you, it's back with these people on your screen. Oh, there he is. Big Halo comes in the goods. He takes down the Lulu. And unlike TFT with a Vanguard Mystic composition, he breaks apart the synergy, and he is now 3-0-1 with a 500 gold bounty to his name. What a performance from this man, and what a time to sort of show up and dismiss all the haters that were so critical of his debut games.
And doing it on his champion pool, right? He's got a very unique champion pool. It's a little bit, you know, more of seasons thrown past, Cassiopeia Vega. But he's doing it very nicely at the moment. Big damage coming across from Puma. Hook will miss for the first time.
You know, you got to miss some of them. He is human after all, apparently. As let's just touch on those OPL banners for a second. How beautiful are they? I'm pretty sure that is a brand new addition this week, and it just adds an extra, you know, layer of class to the OPL.
Just makes it feel like home. You know, it's just a very nice feeling as you see the Oceanic logo flying over Summoner's Rift. Outer lane turrets are being broken now, Skimmy. It is about a 3.5-ish thousand gold lead for the Legacy lineup. Credit to Gravitas for stabilizing this game as much as they've been able to do so. But in saying that, that is a center with a 20-minute transform. This is a champion that stacks up the Manamune slower than any other champions in the game, I believe. But got it on time when Ezreal normally completes it. And the Seraphs is done by Halo for good measure. They are so strong at this stage of the game.
This is crazy. You know, you're talking about ahead of the clock for the likes of a Caitlyn. Well, Legacy are saying, well, as much as you like playing with those clocks, time is on our side right now. And you highlight it quite nicely because, you know, we talk about Ezreal being the GOAT when it comes to stacking that one up. Only the likes of a Kaiser and Senna can dream on. But Raze is definitely putting up a show right now. He's found success in the early stages and he's transitioning beautifully into the 21-minute mark as well.
And a little bit of a 4-1 going on from Legacy. You know, no one tending to that top lane, wanting to get mid lane push beforehand. They've got great control on the bottom side of Summoner's Rift. And you can see that Babip, this game around, is having a much more concerted effort of taking Halo to his waves. And you can see, now that he's on his wave, Babip is actually just babysitting him. He has 3 camps out of 4 of his jungle available. And he's just sitting there saying, you know what, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to make sure you get your farm. As a Trundle, I don't need that many items, so I'm going to be here for you. And he takes him straight back down River, Skimmy. This is, you can see that this is much more of a team effort from Legacy to ensure that their new mid laner is not being punished. And how about a bit of a duo Baron for your life?
If you want to, because whilst that's happening, Isles is keeping you locked up in the mid lane. He hits that hook another time, because why not at this stage? As the babysitting duties continue. Bodyguard Babip ensures that they guarantee that this Baron goes their way, and forget the likes of a Leandries or anything along that way. They've still got tons of damage. The Baron goes on down 22 minutes into this one. We might just see a fight take place as a result. Chrono Break back, Praylist full health. Teleport comes in as nobody says, I want to try and do something. I've got a Cyclone ready to go. The Magical Journey is there for the movement speed that is necessary, but you're going into a Baron-inspired team. And that is Halo coming on through now with a ton of gold, but stunned as soon as he lands. That's not the play. Flash, Petrified Gaze, it doesn't connect the Lantern. Oh no, it's not enough. Kayla finds one, nobody gets the second. They're going into a Baron-inspired team, but they take a 3-for-1.
And now they might be able to get themselves a dragon. They've stopped 3 of the Baron buffs, but Topoon goes in.
Maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew. That is a support Lulu. Always looking for the Puma. The Prowler, the Cat, the damage dealer, but he's fallen on down already. And they jump on through, but the deceivingly explosive damage there of Echo catches Topoon off guard. And yeah, they say, never follow us through that teleport again.
So they're going to be able to extend this game further. And in fact, that they've narrowed the gold lead down to a couple of thousand now, Skimmy. It was a great Baron sneak, but the team fight afterwards, especially the teleport from Halo, the young man makes a mistake. Go to your tier 1 turret. There's no point arriving on a minion wave in that much danger. Makes maybe his biggest mistake of the game so far, and it will give Gravitas a couple of more chances to be able to come back into this one.
Can't afford to give that many mistakes, or can't afford to give any mistake away at this level of pro play. As, despite where the game really is, despite goal differences, despite anything, he will be punished, and unfortunately for him, he felt it right there. Puma sitting at 2 items now. He's got himself a static shiv, not actually gone for the rapid fire cannon. Just wants a little bit of extra damage, and why not at this stage? He's going to be buffed up by the Ardent Sensor as well as the Athenes of a mid Lulu. And we'll have the Bard there as well. And as you can see, he puts out a fair bit of damage. Okay, there it is. They collapse on mids. Both the flashes of Echo and Bard had to be burnt, but they take another man down for 30 seconds.
And that's just a little bit of disrespect coming in from Raze. You can see on the bottom side that there's 2 members. Once again, Halo getting the bodyguard protection of this Trundle. And I think it's a great game plan because no one can contest those 2 champions in the side lane. But Raze steps forward and just starts whacking Puma mid. Means he's going to fall down very, very quickly. As the rotation through the jungle is here, they exit stage left. And as soon as this Caitlyn gets a 3rd item, Skimmy, I'm going to call game on. Because Lulu Caitlyn is a very tough composition to deal with.
Especially, you know, when we're talking about the range, the lockdown, you know, you can set up a wall of traps and say, you know, when we're sieging, you shall not pass across this. We're not going to fall victim to invading in terms of the river where a petrifying gaze and whatnot could catch us out. And hats off to Praelis. Despite what wasn't the easiest start to this game, he's definitely found moments to shine and showcase why this is a pick that's been banned away in his last 4 games.
He always finds a way. Praelis is like, he's a man on a mission this year. Every single game he comes in and he knows that he's going to cop, you know, 70, 80% of the bans, and everyone is going to play the early game around him. That is a good tempered fate.
It is indeed. It does just lock in the Fresh at this stage. He's going to drop his full combination on Dan, receives the Dawning Shadow, gets the shield, gets out. Deep teleport there from Tapoon, now playing on the flank. He's got 2 members in his sight, 2 supports. Slice and dice and delete the Lulu, gone. Sweet dreams. As Bard runs the other way. And this is a very, very scrappy mid-game as we hit the 26-minute mark.
But the mid lane turret does fall down. Legacy will return the favor. The map is now opened up. Big difference there was Tapoon had his teleport to be able to make it. Nobody did not. And Legacy will continue to push through. Need to make sure they don't overstay their welcome, however. As the Baron is 2 minutes away, and that Soul Drake in the Infernal is also up and available. If Gravitas get the next Infernal on this 3-item Caitlyn that will be buffed up by a 3-item Lulu, could get very scary. But for now, you still have to say center is queen. No flash available, but should still be able to dish out a lot of damage.
Certainly will be. You highlight the 3-item spike there with the rapid fire cannon coming online. That's double zeal items and a ton of attack speed, obviously complemented by the Ardent Sensor as well. So if Puma can get some uptime, as it has been afforded to him in his last few fights, he's going to deal a fair bit of damage, and that should have showcased it really more than anything. He's got a 1k lead over Raze, but it has been turned around quite heavily in favor of Halo in the mid lane, who finds a significant lead over his support counterparts. He's just actually picked up a Leandries as well, and this is a major, major strength point for the Cassiopeia. As that Twin Fang comes on out, you're going to be dropped to half for nobody's time.
And I wonder if they would have been able to get this Lulu death cap before the next objective came up, because I saw that Puma actually took that mid lane farm. However, there still is a corrupting potion here for the Lulu. Sells for about 350, I think. Maybe a little bit less than that. I think I've been over generous. I just wonder whether they could have got enough gold onto the Lulu to be able to get death cap. Because if he had death cap in this fight, I feel like it would be completely different, Skimmy. He's already got himself probably 40% cooldown reduction if he's running Transcendence, which you would have to assume could be the difference between being able to win and lose this one.
Certainly could be. 40% spell power added is definitely nothing to laugh at. Ultimates get chucked on out, trying to catch somebody out of place. Isles there tickling the bum of Praelis, who quite happily can walk away from that situation as it's now 5 seconds. Game on for the Infernal Soul Point.
But now you have no control over River. You have no flanking wards for this Wukong to be able to get in. No Bard ultimate to be able to start it from range. How do you actually make this work if you are Gravitas? 3,000 health, it's already so low.
It's so low. Will Prelish jump on it? Will he look to try and make a play? Oh no, he's popped the Chrono Break already. He's already zoned out of this fight. However, nobody jumps in, hits the Cyclone. R1, R2, down and delete. Ultimate's coming in clutch. Ultimate's finding their success. Babbitt does not miss those now. Infernal Soul, extra damage. Can they use it to good effect? The Baron buff wasn't enough that time, but Puma is huge. Look at him, he's received all the cooldowns that Lulu can throw his way. And he ran down these members. Out comes the one tap. Not enough to delete them. As Ray screams to the boys, back away.
And if that had been a Dragon Steel, you can see how hard this comp is to deal with. The Lulu, the Caitlyn, I don't know whether they have anyone apart from Trundle who is actually good at dealing with these two champions together. However, that is now Dragon Soul picked up. It is still a 3,000 gold lead. With Baron now back on the cards and 5 minutes till Elder, Legacy need to be hoping that this game is done pretty quickly because this is getting very scary.
I asked the question at the start of this match here, Spawn, what would we have? You know, opposite ends of the ladder, opposite ends of the average game time. Would we see a Legacy that came in here for a 25-30 minute game that just went, hello, this is why we're where we are on the ladder. This is the difference in class. This is the strength of our individual players. But it's getting closer and closer to that sort of 35-minute mark with the Elder buff being threatened. Will Baron be the last team fight to secure the game?
Certainly looks to be the case, Skimmy. And I was actually having some banter with with Denny and Coach of Legacy the other day. I was about to say James, and then I realized how many Jameses are actually on that lineup, right? So I was having some banter with Denny, and he said, like, he put up a tweet that was like, truth, not every draft needs to outscale us. Hold the thought. Topoon gets the ultimate out of nobody. Pops his in response. He said, like, not every draft needs to outscale. That was, like, his buddy tweet of the night. And then he, like, threw the draft away, like, as he saw that one. But I think that they're starting to get into scary territory. And this is why in Oceania, it is so easy to draft comps that do outscale. Because if your team makes one mistake, then it becomes very difficult to actually play the game.
Certainly does, and hence why we see games go to distance at times. Babbitt's being called out, he's leveling. How does he live? Isles protects him. He acts as a shield. Look at Babbitt himself, but right now he can't do much. Oh no, beats his front line. He receives the wild growth, but that's not the target you want. He falls on down, as does Preless. And what looked like Gravitas sniffing out trouble. Legacy say, enough is enough. Baron, it's game on. No, they want more apparently. Forget that, there is no closure of this yarn. We want more, and we'll get more. As they now make it 3 kills.
And you have to say that that is just a huge slip up there from Gravitas. They ran into Legacy's control. That meant Legacy was able to turn around. Now they're going to actually get themselves a Baron buff on all 5 members as well. Topoon looking to continue the fight. Will get chased out. Mid lane tier 2 will go down, but now the chase is on to kill the remaining members of Gravitas.
Chase the Caitlyn. Catch the Lulu. The strength of Gravitas lying in their hands right now. Flashes forward. Oh, he tried to hit the death sentence human. Nearly flashed into it. Of all things right now. Baron buff, Infernal Soul. Isn't enough. We find one. We find a trade back. As Renekton gets aggressive. Now he finds himself a double kill. He takes down the 2 initial key targets in this exchange. And they will find another. As soon as Preless respawns, he's sent back into the fountain once again. I think at this stage of the game, 32 minutes in with the gold lead continuing to build up. I think buff difference is very real.
Certainly is, and I think death time is going to be very real as well. 4 members, Baron buff available. Why not just continue to push through? They're going to teleport their Cassio with an extra item back into the fold, and this should be Legacy picking up the game.
They will be looking to do indeed. 33 minutes in, they are making their claim towards that victory screen and continuing their trajectory as the team that are secured and locked in here for playoffs. But what can nobody do to try and upset that balance? Will it be as harmonious as they want it to be? Well, he tried to. He nearly took down Raze. But the big man himself survives. But what does it mean? Gravitas have bought them a little bit more time and potentially a crack at waiting for that Elder to spawn.
Okay, nobody. Saves the game. Throws his life. They need to be able to live through this next little push while nobody's not here, though. And if they do so, you would argue even more farm going over to the Caitlyn, as she now has herself a QSS. So the raise the puppy comp, you know, still online.
Needs to be careful, however. QSS has just come back online. He also has Summoner Cleanse, and the Flash is now there ready to use. He is well protected, but will they make it easy for him? Tapoon jumps in, tanks up the turret, and tanks up a ton of headshots as well as Caitlyn says thanks for the money. More gold, more opportunity for them to be a scary late game threat. They've held the mid siege. Nobody has respawned. Danger is back in business.
Just give all the gold to Caitlyn. Like, no one else take gold. Just, she's the last hope of Middle Earth right now. Just give everything to Puma. Let him go back. Let him finish up a couple of items. And just pray. That's the Merc Scimitar done. Elder Drake spawning now, Skimmy. You can see how many control wards they have. They know they need vision to be able to fight. Any flank will spell defeat. But maybe, just maybe, there is still a hope in this game.
How we reached this point of the game right now. Gravitas are literally playing like a cat. You know, 9 lives. They've afforded so many. They've had so many moments where it looks like they were out of this game. Even at the get-go, we're thinking, well, this is not looking like a good start for them, but they've clawed themselves into a 35-minute affair here. The Elder has now spawned, and those control wards are well and truly being deployed.
And I feel like you can't give up mid lane prio. You have to actually just start the Dragon. Bait them to come in. Close off the choke point with Caitlyn. Point flip the Drake itself, go for the fight. Hook is on.
Center route won't connect, but that's a ton of damage onto Beats. Halo finds one. The Cyclone again knocks up the entire Legacy roster. Big man Halo finds himself a double kill. At this stage of the game, how do you deal with a Cassiopeia? Apparently, you can't, as Puma now, mission impossible. Running away from every threat thrown his way, but much like a movie, nothing seems to hit him. He manages to get himself out. It doesn't change the outcome, however. Legacy pick up the Elder, and surely this time, third time lucky, they can go for the end.
And I think that was life number 9, Skimmy, because I do not see Gravitas being able to survive this one. Puma will fall down, the creeps are in the base, and Legacy should finally have closed this game out.
Well, what we expected to be a pretty convincing victory here from Legacy was definitely a lot more explosive and exciting than we anticipated. We've seen crazy things with the likes of Mammoth, but today it will be all things Legacy once again. They get all the buffs, they get all the control, a few team fights don't go their way, but at 36 minutes in here, they'll pad up their KD a little bit more, because why not? And they'll end the game.
Whenever you're ready, gentlemen, is what I would be saying as the coach. You know, end that game whenever you're ready. It took about 36 minutes, Skimmy. Actually a little bit slower than what Legacy have been all season long, so credit to Gravitas. They make them work for that victory. The rise of Caitlyn is going to be something that I think we'll watch internationally. She has been buffed repetitively, and you just see why. As she gets towards the 3-4 item mark, she becomes incredibly difficult to deal with. However, at the same time, Legacy were able to do just that.
They certainly were. A convincing victory there for Legacy in the end. Gravitas definitely put up a strong fight. Unfortunately for them, they weren't able to cause a major upset coming into week 9 here. We're going to jump to a quick break once again, and when we return, actually a bit of a spicy matchup again to follow things up, whether it's going to be Direwolves taking on Mammoth. For Mammoth, it's a much-needed win to keep their dreams of trying to take Avant out of playoffs contention.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is dead! He's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.